Hi, I'm Eddie Massey, an attorney here at Clay Massey and Associates in Mobile. And I want to take a few minutes today to talk to you about what's called uninsured or underinsured motorist. Now, if you don't know what that is, I want you to press pause on this video, and I want you to open your car insurance app, go through your mail, log in, find something that has your insurance coverage on it. It will say how much you're paying for each coverage. It'll say liability coverage, it'll say the amount you have. Then if you have full coverage, it'll say collision, comprehensive. And then below that, you will look for uninsured motorist bodily injury. Now, what is uninsured motorist? It is insurance that covers you and your passengers in case the person that hits you either doesn't have any insurance at all or doesn't have enough. Now, why is it important? Well, if you're in an accident around here in South Alabama, you have about a 1 in 5, 1 in 6 chance of the person that hits you is not covered. Now, what does that mean? If the person that hits you has no insurance, there's nothing to pay for your car. There's nothing to pay for your injuries to yourself or your passengers. If you have uninsured motorists, what it will do, it will step into the shoes of the other driver. In other words, if a driver has zero insurance for bodily injury, your uninsured motorist will become his insurance. Now, how much uninsured motorist do you get? In Alabama, the uninsured coverage that you have can equal the liability coverage that you have. So if you have the state minimums of $25,000, then you can get $25,000 in uninsured motorist coverage. Let me explain a disaster scenario. You're driving down the street, you've got the required coverage, you've got everything but uninsured motorists. And someone runs through a stop sign and breaks both of your legs. And you've got, your health insurance is paying your medical bills, but you miss work you're off work for, let's say, 6 months. Well, you contact the other insurance and you file the claim and they say, I'm sorry, that policy lapsed 2 months ago. Or, I'm sorry, there's a policy there, but the driver was excluded from that policy and we're not going to make any payments. That means they're not paying for your car. They're also not paying for you or your doctor bills. And they're also not paying you for your lost wages. There is zero coverage. If you have uninsured motorists, here's how that changes. You have on your car, let's say you have liability limits of $50,000/$100,000, which is a step up from the minimum. And you have uninsured motorist coverage, $50,000/$100,000. What that means is that person that hit you, he now has $50,000 in coverage. There's no deductible. They can't raise your rates. In fact, the only way that you can claim it is if you are 0% at fault. The other person is 100% at fault. Also, you notice I said uninsured motorists, but there's also underinsured motorists. Now, underinsured motorists means that the person has insurance, but they don't have enough. Now, this is equally as important. And it's the same coverage, excess coverage. Let's say the person that hit you has 25 and you have 25 in uninsured motorists. The way you get to your uninsured motorists is the value of your claim must exceed the value of the coverage that the other person has. So if, let's say your case is worth $20,000, that's what the total amount, that's what they're going to pay you for everything. Well, then the uninsured motorist, you don't get to that. However, let's say your case is worth $30,000. In that case, you get the 25 from the at-fault party, and then on top of that, your insurance company pays you 5 more to make it so that you're compensated for the loss. I tell clients that Alabama has terrible laws in a lot of areas, laws that are not beneficial to the average person, the consumer, to insurance policyholders. However, uninsured motorists, in that area of the law, we have as good as anybody in the country. The state of Alabama mandates that underinsured or uninsured motorists come standard on every policy, but the courts have said you can sign it away. You can sign a waiver. Now, look at your most recent bill. It will say how much you're paying for each coverage. And if you see uninsured motorists and there's not a number next to it, then you don't have it, and you need to call your agent and get it immediately, because You certainly don't want to put yourself and your family and your passengers in a situation where no one may be covered. Now, what happens to a lot of people that don't have it and that don't know what it uh, is that when you go in to sign your insurance documents to get your coverage, the person will say, sign here, 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 and here. And you sign your name, but what you don't realize is that one of those is an uninsured motorist waiver. If you ask your insurance agent, if you ask him, tell him you want uninsured motorists on there, and he tries to talk you out of it, find yourself another agent. Do not let anyone tell you that you don't need it. So if you get in the car and you don't have uninsured motorist coverage, you are running a risk, a giant risk that the person that hits you is not going to have coverage, or they have 25 and you have no uninsured motorist. That can be a extremely damaging financial disaster for you and everybody in your household.